Everything to be noticed has to first appear in consciousness. To notice a sensation, to notice a thought, to notice a mood, it has to appear before the floodlights of consciousness. The self, this feeling of self, is also appearing in some way. It has to have some signature. It has to feel like something. And yet, by virtue of appearing in consciousness, that proves that consciousness is, in some sense, prior to it and transcendent of it. Just as you can see an object across the room and by virtue of seeing it, not feel identical to it, and just as you can hear a sound and by virtue of hearing it, having it appear as an object in consciousness, you realize that consciousness is prior to it. And just as you can see a thought arise and realize that, well, you're not identical to the thought because there it is, it's just a bit of language or just an image, and consciousness is over here prior to it. Well, so too with this feeling of self. That's also has to be appearing in some way, otherwise you would never claim to feel it. The self that is considered an illusion and can be discovered to be such and felt to be such, and that can actually change the way you feel as a person in the world. It's a matter of discovering that the feeling that you have of being a subject interior to the body, you're in your head, behind your face, riding around in your body as though it were a vehicle. This is the self that most people think they have. Most people don't feel identical to their persons. They don't feel identical to their bodies. They feel like they're an experiencer in the center of their experience rather than being merely identical to a sphere of experience. And so that's the thing that is interrogated by a technique like meditation, and that's the thing that can be discovered to be absent. The subject is an illusion. The subject is absent. Consciousness isn't an illusion. Thoughts aren't illusions. Perceptions aren't illusions. All those things are actually appearing, but this felt sense that there's a center in the middle of it to whom all of that refers, which is appropriating experience in each moment, as though from outside of experience. That's the thing that can be undone through meditation. Being free of that feeling has psychological consequences. There is something fairly radical to be understood here. You look for this sense of self, and it drops away. And then what is left is the totality of everything else that's in consciousness, but it is the experience of consciousness without a center. Consciousness itself doesn't have this personal quality to it. There is just a moment of seeing or just a moment of hearing, and there's no distance. There's no sense of being a seer on one side with the object of consciousness on the other. It just collapses, just phenomenon arising. You can experience selflessness in every moment of even ordinary awareness.